to Dino Camp 2021. This week it's Fossil Fun, and we're learning all about fossils, where they came from, how they're made, just different things about them. So for this video, we're going to be making some different things out of clay. We're going to be making some acro claws, acro teeth, and then we're also going to make a volcano, which we'll shoot off later in this video. So before we get started, let's talk a little bit about teeth and claw fossils and what they might tell us about the different dinosaurs that they came from. So teeth fossils typically provide the best clue to what dinosaurs would eat. Different types of dinosaurs had different types of teeth. They're different shape, different size, so that gave us kind of a lot of clues to what they might have eaten, how they might have eaten it, different things like that. So the reason they're so different is because they're used for different purposes. So for example, herbivores, which are dinosaurs that eat plants, would have had different teeth from carnivores, which are animals that eat meat. So some different herbivore dinosaurs would have been like the Apatosaurus. They had long rake-like teeth that were used for stripping branches of their leaves. The Triceratops had a whole battery of sharp teeth that were used for slicing up plants that they would have found on the ground. And then there were hadrosaurs, which had whole batteries of grinding teeth that they used to grind up plants that they would eat. And so the other example that I was using were carnivores, which are dinosaurs that ate meat. And so the best example of this is, of course, the Tyrannosaurus rex or the Acrocanthosaurus. And so these dinosaurs had long, sharp, knife-like teeth that were used to rip the meat off of its prey or swallow it whole. Moving on to the claws would have been used for similar reasons. So herbivores would use their claws to grasp a branch and maybe pull it closer to the animal, or they might have used it for digging. And likewise, carnivores would have used their claws to immobilize their prey and bring it closer to them so that they could eat it with their teeth. So now that we know, we'll talk a little bit more about volcanoes in a separate video, but for the purposes of keeping all the clay together, we're going to make those with this video. So we'll go ahead and get started now that we know a little bit more about these things that we're making. So if you didn't see before, this is what we're making today. We're going to be making a clay tooth. We'll be making a claw. And then we'll be making a volcano, just like this. So the first thing we're going to make is going to be the tooth. So you'll just need a little chunk of clay. And basically what you're going to want to do is squish it up really good. And basically you're just going to form a triangle-like piece. So that might take some molding. You might squish it a little bit. You can make it a little fatter, you can make it a little thinner. You might think you have too much clay, so you can always just rip it off and make it smaller. But I like to make it a little rounded just so you can see where the gum went in. And then you can just keep molding until it's a shape that you're happy with. The important thing to remember about Acro's tooth is she was a carnivore, so she ate meat, so you want to make sure that the end is super pointy and as sharp as you can get it. So that is going to be my tooth. And so then what you want to do when you're done with your clay is you want to stop touching it and just set it to the side to dry. Clay usually takes between 2 and 3 days to dry, so you can just set it to the side for a few days. We store ours in little clamshell plastic cartons that you use like for takeout containers, and that usually keeps them pretty safe from getting damaged or breaking off or anything like that. So the second thing we're going to make is we're going to make a claw. So what you want to do, and that's a lot of clay. So what you want to do is take your clay, and again, we're going to form kind of like a triangle, but this time we're going to make it more curved. Since Acro would have had some claws that curved out like this, that's kind of the shape that we're going for. And again, they're carnivores, so you want to make it as sharp and pointy as you possibly can to make it the most realistic. And then I just kind of round out the base again, just so you could tell where it maybe went into his skin or his scales, whatever they have. So then once you're done with your claw, a bit rounder. Once you're done with your claw, you're going to set that to the side as well. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a volcano. And so something extra that you'll need for the volcano is you're going to need a little paper bowl or a plastic bowl to set it in, because like I said, at the end of this video we're going to go outside and we're going to set them off so they'll erupt. But we're going to make them erupt, we're going to use some vinegar and baking soda. We'll show you that in a little bit. But anyway, so the way that I make my volcano, there's lots of different ways. Basically, you want to make it into a mountain with a little hole in the center. So what I just do is I flatten it all the way out until I can make a good sized mountain. And then what you'll do is you'll just kind of fold it a little bit until it touches on the other side. You might tear some off just so you have a little extra to work with on this side. You can also fold up the bottom to make it a little more round. So you can kind of see the basic shape that I'm making and how it's going to look. And then once you get it pretty well molded, you can set it on the inside of your bowl and use that kind of like a base. And it's also going to serve to catch any like spillage that you have. So any vinegar that spills out over the top, you'll catch that in the bowl too. So in case you don't have a good spot outside to set it off, you can catch it on the inside. You can mold around the edge. And then you're also going to want to let that dry for a couple of days just to make sure that it's going to stay where it's supposed to. But that's the gist of how to make it. So we're fixing to go outside and show you how to set one off. So we're out here and we're about to set this volcano off. So like I said earlier, for this, once your volcano's dry, you'll need some baking soda and some vinegar. And what you're going to do, I just have a little plastic spoon here that I'm going to use to get a couple of spoonfuls of baking soda and just dump it into the hole of your volcano. You don't need a whole lot. And if it gets on the sides, you can just scrape it in. So the next thing that we're going to do, move out of the way just a little bit, you will take your vinegar and you're just going to pour just a tiny bit, and then voila, it's going to explode just like that. And so if you want a little more of a reaction, you can put more vinegar in, you can put more baking soda in, you can always pour it in again and let it explode some more. But the cool thing is it doesn't really hurt your clay, so if you need to, you can always let it dry, pour the excess out, and then you can let it explode again. So you guys enjoy having an exploding volcano, and we will see you guys in the next video.